basketball. The Buckeyes are preparing for battle, and you're preparing to listen to them. Equally important, this is Fan Warm-Up.
All right, Buckeye basketball fans, welcome to another edition of Men's Hoops. We've got a game tonight against the Evansville Purple Aces out of the Missouri Valley Conference. 7 o'clock tip coming up here at the Schottenstein Center, and this is the first of 4 games now for the Buckeyes where they get some home cooking. They'll take on Evansville. They've got a game coming up against Campbell after that. Then it's Green Bay, and then they've got that one right before the Michigan football game. Home game at 2:30 in the afternoon. It'll be interesting to see how everything plays out in that one. That's against Pitt out of the ACC. So a pretty good non-conference matchup at the end of this 4-game slate. But these trio of games and this one starting here tonight against Evansville, I'm looking at this as a game where you don't take your opponent lightly, but you go into this one thinking about working on getting better and thinking about how you played last time out against Texas A&M when you really didn't play well. And you lost that one 78-64. And to go back to that one for just a minute, as the Buckeyes had a chance, a golden opportunity. I didn't realize this, but going into Friday night, that could have been the first time in Ohio State men's basketball history that they had 2 ranked wins in their first 3 games of a regular season. And they obviously let it slip through the cracks. And once they were up 3-0, Bruce Thornton hit that first 3-pointer of the game. Their offense really just, it was not there. They weren't able to get to the rim and attack the basket and get to the free throw line the way that Texas A&M was. And I'd wondered that from the first game against Texas, and I think a lot of Buckeye fans did too. The rate that they were shooting 3-pointers. And Jake Diebler's talked about this, and they will continue to do that if they're the right looks, if they're good quality shots, if it's in the pace and the rhythm of their offense, they're going to go up. And I'm okay if they shoot a lot of 3-pointers, but if they have a night where they are just shooting a woeful clip from beyond the arc, what are they then going to do to adjust? And they weren't able to find those adjustments and get the ball inside and score in different ways against Texas A&M, and they weren't really able to chip into that lead. Now, Texas A&M was never blowing the doors off of them by 20, but it was one of those where once they went up, I think 9-3, the Buckeyes never made that a one-possession basketball game again. And you would like to see them make a little bit of a move on them, because I don't ultimately believe that Texas A&M should be that much better than this Ohio State team. When you look at the guards for the Buckeyes this year and how that can be the strength of their team, I'd like to see Meechie Johnson here soon really start to settle into his role and really find his rhythm and his efficiency offensively. I think we're all counting on that happening, and it's going to need to happen for this Buckeye basketball team to reach its peak. And then the 2 chips, the 2 pieces that I will continue to talk about, and I think if this Buckeye team is going to be awesome, if they're going to reach that next level and not just be a tournament team, but a team that you can count on and bank on to do some things in March, that's going to be what they get from the 4 and 5. What do Sean Stewart and Aaron Bradshaw, who are still really young in their development, what do they ultimately turn in this season? Are we going to get to a point where you can maybe count on some double-doubles from one of those 2 guys or both? That's going to have a huge deal. That's going to make a big difference for what this Buckeye squad can be. That sits at 2-1 coming into the game tonight. You look at the other side. Evansville, I mentioned, I didn't finish in the last segment there on what this Evansville program has been the last 4 or 5 years. So it's a difference between the last 4 years and then just what last year was for Evansville. They are 1-3, I should tell you, this year. They're coming off of a 92-81 loss to Radford. So they are still trying to find themselves some struggles here to start the 24-25 season. But I'm going to just read off what the records were for Evansville basketball here recently. They were 9-23. They were 9-16 in the shortened season. Then they dipped to 6-24. Then they were 5-27 and 1-19 in conference play. And that was their current coach, David Ragland's first year. And he came over from Laval Jordan's staff at Butler. So this is a guy that's been around and has a ton of experience at some nice basketball programs, Valpo, Utah State, then at Butler, before taking the job at Evansville. So that was his first year, and he had a lot to clean up when they took that 5-27 season. But just last year, 17-18. you don't run into too many programs where there is a 12-win difference from one year to the next year. That you talk about rebuilding a program. So showed a lot of signs last year. Still remains to be seen if they keep that going here in year 3 for their new head coach. But one of my favorite parts of the week, getting to talk some Buckeye basketball. Let's continue to break them down with Ron Stokes.
It's time to go inside the Buckeyes with OSU basketball analyst and former captain Ron Stokes.
All right, Ron, it's good to talk some hoops with you again. What can you tell us about where this team would be coming off a loss like that against Texas A&M, where they didn't really play well, they weren't hitting shots from the start, and now you have one of these games where you're a 25.5-point favorite. You expect to win, but also try to get better in a lot of areas.
There's some guys need to develop some confidence, and one is you talked about a little bit, Meechie Johnson, and anytime you make that transition from one school to the other, regardless of whether you're a freshman doing it, sophomore, junior, senior, what have you, there is a period of adjustment. When you look at Meechie Johnson's statistical numbers, the one that really jumps out to me is the fact he has yet to get to the free throw line in 3 games. He's a guard that, averaged almost 4 free throw attempts last year, South Carolina. He's yet to get to the line, especially when you think about how physical the game was against Texas A&M. He should be one of the first guys getting to the line. And this is the kind of game you expect for Ohio State to win, but it's a game where a guy like Meechie Johnson can continue to develop his adjustment to being here back at Ohio State. And then the freshmen, obviously, I've said this many times, freshmen play better at home, no doubt. And you look at Sean Stewart, 0 for 6 from the field away from Columbus, Ohio. So he's adjusting his second year as a basketball player and assuming a role that he didn't have last year at Duke. So those are 2 guys that I'd like to see have some productive games tonight.
So, Ron, do you think you want to see this team try to look to – we know Meechie Johnson can drive to the hoop. He's done it. He just hasn't finished a couple times, but you mentioned seeing him get to the line. Do you want to see the team have maybe a more concerted effort to get the ball down low?
Yeah, no question about it. And, again, it's a blend, right? You have more 7-footers shooting threes in the history of the game now than you ever done, and some of them do it very, very well. So to get them to go down here and play with their back to the basket, sometimes that's not going to happen consistently. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with having a mixture of that, right? Get some with your back to the basket, get some out on the perimeter. It kind of puts more pressure on the opposition. But, yeah, absolutely, you cannot go the entire year, relying on the 3 ball because it's going to come and go. That's just what it is. That's why you get more points for it. We know it's a more difficult shot in terms of distance away from the basket, but clearly having a balance of being able to score in transition and half-court setting as well with guys getting it inside or driving, and then, of course, the 3 ball. That's what good teams have to go out and play against.
All right, Ron, you get to get comfortable in your broadcast position for a little bit because until December now, you're going to be at the friendly confines of the Schottenstein Center, so enjoy.
I'm trying to. I mean, you think about it. Back in the day, November and December, you expect to be in this city for most of the games, right? That's no longer anymore, right? So I'm going to enjoy these 4 straight in Columbus.
Yep, you get through Thanksgiving, you will be here. Let's get a W tonight.
All right, go Bucks.
Go Bucks, indeed. Always fun catching up with Ron Stokes. The key to the game for me is just exert your will. This is Evansville you're playing. You're a heavy favorite. We know how that game against Texas A&M went. They lacked a little bit of that toughness and bite that they needed. So show all of that and then some tonight and get the win against Evansville. I will see you after the game for some post-game commentary. Paul Keels and Ron Stokes with the call coming up. It's Buckeye Basketball on the Fan.
You've been listening to Fan Warm-Up. Stay tuned for Buckeye Basketball on your flagship home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
30% of D1 athletes report betting-related threats and harassment after games. This threatens the safety and mental health of students like Jade.
I'm a college athlete, and I'm more than a bet. When you threaten my life and my family because you lost money, it really scares me.
These threats are not acceptable. Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
Now, in our last session, you said you were hearing noises.
Terrible noises.
Tell me more.
Same time every morning.
Can you describe them?
Well, it starts like yee and then turns into woo woo woo.
Indeed. And does it also come with a thump?
That's exactly what it is. How did you know, Doctor?
This is a symptom of not having an Apex Pros water heater.
Doctor, I know my husband, and he would never.
And the sound then goes yip yip woo woo woo. I'm writing you a prescription for an Apex Pros water heater.
You really think this will help?
Apex Pros, the pros who knows. First you doubt me, then you doubt the pros who knows.
I'm not doubting. I just didn't think my husband would make such
The unnecessary suffering of surprise cold water. I've seen it 1,000 times. Apex Pros even has tankless solutions that provide never-ending warm water.
Wow.
The crazy sounds will go away by tomorrow. Now here's my bill. Now about that sound.
It's Alex the Apex Bear. We are the pros who knows, the official plumber of the Columbus Blue Jackets. ApexPros.com.
Looking for your next Subaru? At Byers Airport Subaru, we give you options from start to finish. Browse and shop entirely online from the comfort of your home at ColumbusSubaru.com or stop by and visit one of our friendly brand specialists just by the airport.
Right now, you can get a new 2025 Subaru Outback for 2.9% for up to 72 months.
Whether you prefer to click or come in, we've got you covered. Your journey starts at Byers Airport Subaru. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Subject to credit approval. Financing offer term up to 72 months on 2025 Subaru Outback. Cannot be combined with any other incentive. See dealer for details. Offer ends 12/2/24.
Hi, I'm Laura De Leon, president of Key Bank in Central Ohio. Here at Key, we believe in providing a helping hand in our community. While helping hands are wonderful, a helping bank is even better. That's a bank committed to solving people's financial needs, but it doesn't stop there. We advocate, we support, we listen, and we volunteer. That's a bank that is always ready to meet you in the moment. Key Bank opens doors.
Key Bank, member FDIC.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
What's up, sandwich heads? Today on Steve-O's Sandwich Reviews, we've got the tips and tricks to the best sandwich order. And it all starts with this little guy right here. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Partial to pastrami, craving a Cubano. Yeah, sounds delicious, but boom! Add the crisp, refreshing taste of Pepsi Zero Sugar and cue the fireworks. Lunch, dinner, or late night, it'll be a sandwich worth celebrating. Trust me, your boy's eaten a lot of sandwiches in his day, and the one thing I can say with absolute fact,